mainly being prepared for your security is to be prepared for the unexpected. As Sam very simply put it to me, when you least expect it most, because that's how it usually happens. There really isn't any way to predict when something you don't expect turns out to wreck your day. Preparing for a disaster is something you have to do before it actually happens. It's too late once it's struck your system. If you get infected with a virus or your hard drive crashes and you didn't prepare for that disaster prior to it happening, you're SOL. A couple of ways to back up your information. I personally create a system restore point once per week automatically using the tools provided within Windows 8.1. It automatically creates an image backup for me every Sunday while I'm sound asleep. That way, if something happens during the week, an hour later I can restore my entire operating system. But if you don't do these things on a regular basis, then when that disaster happens, of course you lose all of your personal information. You can always restore your operating system and your programs, but your pictures will be gone, your emails will be gone, or your documents will have been lost, okay? So prepare before it happens. If you're not really interested in backing up your operating system and your programs, because those can always be reinstalled, but only want to back up your data, there are many online services that you can use to back up just your data. There are also quite a few paid-for products that you can use. Carbonite is only one of those. We should all realize there is no such thing anymore as privacy. There hasn't been since 2007. Every single day you're reminded of the fact everything you do on your computer is scrutinized by either your internet service provider or by NSA or one of the other government agencies. Privacy means you whisper in somebody's ear and hope that the hearing aid they wear is not bugged and goes directly to the NSA, okay? The second you go online, whatever you make available online is everybody else's business. Even if it's not picked up by a government agency, Google, for instance, something you erase, well, they have it in their history. And if you do a search on Google, I find many things that I posted have long since gone by the wayside, but they're still in their archives. Anything you post is public knowledge. So be careful and make sure that what you post is something you're willing to share with everyone. I guess if ex-Congressman Wiener would have realized that, he would have realized there's no such thing as private communication, especially not on social media. Little thing to point out, the difference between privacy and security. Window shades, they're excellent to protect your privacy because it prevents people from looking into your window. They're terrible for security because they don't protect your house. You can still get into it, just go through the window. On the other hand, if you have security bars on your windows, they are excellent to keep the crooks from getting into your house. They don't do a blessed thing to protect your privacy because people can still look into that window. Simple analogy, but that's how it works. There's also a difference between security and privacy on the internet. It's easy to protect your security. It's impossible to protect your privacy. Not long ago, Target's point of sale was breached, and you have 110 million people whose information was made public. Now, that doesn't mean that 110 million people wound up having all of their information utilized by somebody who has no business to it. What it does mean is that that information is now public knowledge. The good thing that came out of this is the president of Target did say that for the next year, anyone can simply apply to them and get free credit monitoring for a year through Experian. All you do is go to that website and you sign up and you get free credit monitoring for a year. Their hope, of course, is that at the end of the year, Experian will get some new customers. My advice is very simple. Take the free protection for the year, and you have up until April 3rd to still take advantage of it. And at the end of the year, start using what we are all entitled to, which is one free credit check every single year from each of the 3 major credit companies. And if you work it right and not ask for all 3 in January, you can actually get a credit report once every 4 months because they all give you the same information. It is very rare that one has one bit of information and the other one has something else. So if you credit one in January, one in May, and one in August, 3 times a year, you wind up with knowledge of, is your credit still okay, or is somebody messing around with it? And no, your wife or husband aren't part of what you can prevent. Mobile security. No, your smartphone is not some stupid little thing that you carry with you. It is a full-blown computer in a miniaturized form. And all the dangers that you have within your computer when you're online also exist on your smartphone. Many, many people now buy not a computer, but a tablet or a smartphone because they realize it can do just about the same thing as a computer. The crooks who write the malware also realize this, and there's been a 614% increase in the amount of malware written for those devices in the last year. iOS. It isn't any safer than an Android system, and it is just as easily compromised as anything else. Avast offers protection for the Android system. It doesn't yet offer anything for the iOS. The one thing that can help protect you when you're online is to use a virtual private network. It's called VPN. Actually, what it does is it encrypts all your data, and it has people think that you're one place when you're actually somewhere else. I currently, anything I do on my smartphone, also on my computer, since I'm at a hotel and accessing their Wi-Fi, they think I'm in Texas. I know that they think I'm in Texas because even Google says, hey, you're not in a place where you're normally used to using your computer. You need to sign in again, and you need to give us a couple of other pieces of information because we're not used to seeing you in Texas, okay? So VPN does work. The one that Avast offers is not free. The free versions that are available from other companies are not as good as and not as fast as a service that you pay for. Social engineering attacks usually fish for information, looking to steal what is needed in order to access your bank account. Facebook right now has a couple of good things going on. Our friend Bill Gates is making an offer. Click on the button, I'll send you $5,000. And all I need is just some information from you so I know I'm sending it to the right person. Of course, the information they ask for is just what they need to start stealing your identity. Things that will want you to open up a video, and almost all of them are very explicit, oh my God, you've got to see this. You don't want to miss this, okay? All those things. Anytime you see one of those key words, it means stay away from it. Just close it out and throw it away. Now, for those of you who think that these kind of contests and all those nice videos are really something that you want to take advantage of, I have a very special, limited, one-time offer. Send me an email. Make sure you give me all of your information, including your bank account, and I will let you know how you can get this beautiful bridge almost totally free.
It needs a lot of repair. You gotta be in for a big expense.
No, I leave that to the city of New York. I just offer the bridge as is. Sometimes your breaches come from very unexpected places. My camera. Gee, I just took a picture. I want to share it with you. So I take out the smart card and I pass it on to you, and you think, oh, I'm getting the picture. I want to see this. In the meanwhile, that smart card is preloaded with an infection that I want to pass on to you. Okay? The second you install it, if you're not properly protected, you're now infected. So these things come from very unexpected places. Garage door openers have gotten smarter. They're now linking them together with your alarm. So when you open your garage door, you also deactivate the alarm. And if you're not so smart, you also have your GPS. And your GPS, many people, well, it's easy to push a button that says home. Well, it's also nice when the cook gets it. He pushes the button home and he knows you aren't there. I know where I can go ahead and do a little bit of thievery.
Cooking.
Yeah, now what I have is I have your GPS and I have your garage door opener and I can bypass your alarm. So and I have access, of course, to your car. So now I've stolen your car, and I also have access to break into your house. So be careful how you treat these devices. The smarter they get, the more cautious you have to become. Let's go through what's covered today at this great conference. First thing you're going to get is a free lunch.
There is no free lunch.
If there isn't, I'm leaving now. I had an offer for breakfast. I plan to take somebody up on that. Under the user group tracks, because this is split into two tracks, one for users from computer clubs and one for business. Under the user clubs, you have camera care, somebody to explain your Mac, somebody to explain Maverick, Picasa, tablets, identity theft, and under the business, we get into cloud, Windows 8, social networking, Hubly, multiple forms of security, and repairing your Mac. Your camera. I have seen this presentation from the gentleman who does it more than once, and I'm always fascinated about just how knowledgeable he is. And he also does a good job of repairing your camera for you, the little things on it, right there on the spot.
If he gets here.
If he gets here, I hope so. The Mac. Oh no, not this one. This one. Okay, so if you want to know more about your Mac, that's something you ought to be visiting. Maverick operating system, something fairly new, something you might want to take a look at. From the PC to the tablet, and how you get to use both of them and how they work interactively. Cloud storage, or actually the Google Cloud. I've used Google since Google first made things available to the public. And there are people that hate Google, and there are those of us who happen to think anything I get for free is great with me. Okay, I'm one of those people. Repairing your Mac or your PC. And there are also many other presentations. Identity theft. We covered a little bit of it today, but it goes much deeper than just the little surface of it. My regular presentation covers quite a bit of identity theft. Before I leave you this morning, something I want to leave you with. Before there was a computer, there was also a different type of life. And memory was something that you lost with age. An application was something you filled out in order to get a job. A program was something you watched on your TV. A cursor was somebody who swore an awful lot. A keyboard was usually found on a piano. A web was a spider's home. A virus was the flu. The CD was a bank account. I know, I used to have one. Now I can't afford them anymore. A hard drive was a long trip on the road. A mouse pad was where the mouse lived. And if you had a 3.5-inch floppy, just hope nobody found out about it.
Are you taking any questions?
I will as soon as I'm finished. Hopefully I have some answers. And I hope all of you enjoy the conference. I know I will.